This video will show you two different ways of how to sew up your projects. The first method is a running stitch. Place your knitted items with right sides facing together. First, anchor your yarn by making 1 or 2 stitches in the same place. When making your first stitch, make sure it is right at the edge of the work. This will stop your seam having a gap at the edge. Continue sewing along the edge. Try to make your stitches the same length, around 5 mm. Push your needle from the front of your work to the back. Leave a 5 mm gap and then push your needle from the back of your work to the front. After doing a few stitches, you need to check your tension. If you pull your stitches too tight, it will cause the edge of your work to be pinched in as shown. After doing about 4 stitches, I stop and pull the stitches. You want them to be nice and stretchy like the rest of your knitting. Continue stitching until you get to the end. You finish off by stitching 3 stitches in the same place again, the same as you did when you started. Make sure the final stitch is right to the edge. I have used a contrasting colour yarn here so you can see the stitches clearly. Obviously, you would normally use the same colour as you used in your knitting. The second method I am going to show you is called Mattress Stitch. Place your knitted pieces with both of the right sides facing you. Identify on each piece the column that you wish to use to form your stitches. Attach your yarn to the wrong side as before. Identify the first stitch right at the edge of your work and thread your yarn up through that stitch. Identify the first stitch on your other piece of work and again thread the yarn up through that stitch. Taking in turns from one piece of knitting to the other, place your needle down into exactly the same spot as your previous stitch and up again about 5 mm away from where you put it down. Continue alternating from one side of knitting to the other. As you are stitching, try to keep to the same column of stitches as you are going up. As I continue, you will start to see the effect this stitch has. It is very neat and forms a lovely edge. Make sure you continue right until the edge. As you can see, even though I've used a contrasting yarn, you can barely see the stitches I have made. This is a great stitch to use when sewing up hats, etc., because it practically makes an invisible seam.